There are objects in the solar system that do not shine like stars. They do not stay steady like planets, and they do not always move through the sky in a familiar way. They appear suddenly, with long glowing tails stretching across the darkness. Then they vanish again, disappearing into the cold outer regions of space. These objects are comets, ancient wanderers of the solar system. For thousands of years, people looked up at comets with fear and wonder. They seemed unpredictable, mysterious, almost supernatural. A bright visitor crossing the night sky, then fading away as if it had never been there. But today, we know that comets are not omens. They are ancient leftovers, frozen pieces of the early solar system made of ice, dust, rock, and frozen gases. In a way, a comet is like a time capsule. A small world that has carried the memory of the solar system's beginning for billions of years. To understand why comets are so important, we have to go back to the birth of the Sun. Around 4.6 billion years ago, the solar system formed from a giant cloud of gas and dust. At the center, the young sun began to ignite. Around it, a spinning disk of material slowly came together. Some of that material formed planets, some became moons, some became asteroids, and some remained as small, icy bodies. Far from the warmth of the sun, these icy bodies became comets. They were too small to become planets, too cold to become active worlds, so they drifted in the darkness. Almost unchanged for billions of years. That is what makes them so valuable to science. A planet like Earth has changed dramatically over time. Its surface has been reshaped by volcanoes, water, weather, and life. But many comets have remained frozen and preserved. They still contain some of the original material from the time when the solar system was young. So when scientists study a comet, they are not just studying an object in space. They are studying the ancient ingredients from which the solar system was built. But comets do not always look spectacular. Far from the sun, a comet is usually dark and quiet. It may look like a dirty ball of ice and rock. Cold, silent, almost invisible. But everything changes when it moves closer to the sun. As sunlight begins to warm the comet, the frozen material on its surface starts to change. Ice turns directly into gas. Dust is released into space. A glowing cloud forms around the comet's nucleus. This cloud is called the coma. And then, the comet begins to grow its famous tail. The tail is not simply left behind like smoke from a moving object. It is shaped by the sun. Solar radiation and the solar wind push gas and dust away from the comet. That is why a comet's tail usually points away from the sun, no matter which direction the comet is traveling. This is one of the strange things about comets. Their tails are not just signs of motion. They are signs of interaction between an ancient icy body and the energy of the sun. Some comet tails can stretch for millions of kilometers. A tiny nucleus, only a few kilometers wide, can create a glowing tail longer than the distance between Earth and the Moon. That is why comets can become so dramatic in the night sky. A small object suddenly transformed into a giant glowing visitor. But where do these wanderers come from? Most comets are believed to come from two distant regions of the solar system. The first is the Kuiper Belt. This region lies beyond the orbit of Neptune. It is a cold, dark zone filled with icy bodies. Pluto is one of the most famous objects in this region. Many short-period comets may come from the Kuiper belt. These comets return to the inner solar system again and again over relatively shorter timescales. The second region is even farther away. It is called the Oort cloud. Unlike the Kuiper belt, the Oort cloud has never been directly observed. But scientists think it may exist as a vast spherical shell surrounding the solar system. It may contain billions or even trillions of icy bodies. These objects are incredibly far from the sun. So far that the sun would look like just another bright star. Out there, a comet can remain frozen for an enormous length of time, but sometimes the gravity of a passing star or the pull of the galaxy can disturb one of these icy bodies. Its orbit changes, and after sleeping in the dark for billions of years, it begins a long fall toward the sun. That journey can take thousands or even millions of years, and when it finally reaches the inner solar system, we may see it as a comet in the sky. This is why comets feel like messengers from the edge of the solar system. They come from places we cannot easily reach. They carry material from a time we cannot return to, and they appear only briefly before disappearing again. One of the most famous comets is Halley's Comet. It returns roughly every 76 years. For a human life, that is a long time. Some people may see it once, a few may live long enough to see it twice. But for the comet, 76 years is just one loop in a much longer story. Halley's Comet has been seen by many generations of humans. Ancient observers recorded it, medieval people feared it, modern astronomers studied it, and future generations will see it again. That makes comets feel different from planets. Planets are always there, predictable, stable, familiar, but comets are visitors. They arrive from darkness, they flare into beauty, then they leave. And sometimes they never return. Some comets have orbits so long that they may not come back for thousands of years. Others may pass near the sun only once, then be thrown out into deep space forever. This gives comets a haunting quality. They are not just objects, they are travelers, ancient bodies moving through time, across distances that are difficult to imagine. But comets may have played another role, one that connects them directly to Earth. Some scientists think comets may have delivered part of Earth's water, or at least some of the ingredients needed for life. In the early solar system, Earth was struck by many objects, asteroids, comets, fragments left over from planetary formation. These impacts were violent, but they may also have delivered important materials. Comets contain water ice. They also contain organic molecules, carbon-rich compounds that are part of the chemistry of life. This does not mean comets created life by themselves, but they may have helped provide some of the raw ingredients. That idea makes them even more fascinating. A comet is not just a frozen rock in space. It may be a carrier of ancient chemistry, a messenger that helped shape the conditions on young planets. Perhaps some of the water in Earth's oceans, or some of the molecules that later became part of living things, arrived on bodies like these. The answer is still debated, but the possibility is powerful, because it means that these icy wanderers may not only preserve the past, they may also have helped create the future. Still, comets can also be dangerous. A large comet hitting Earth would release enormous energy. Throughout the history of the solar system, impacts have shaped planets and moons. Craters are scars from ancient collisions. And although most comets pass safely through space, their unpredictable nature made them terrifying to people in the past.